and welcome to the FMSL podcast, episode 18. I am Cameron, manager of Anderlecht, host of the FMSL podcast. It's a little different around here today. Unfortunately, due to some events and things like that, Chrissy is unable to make it, and Chrissy's replacement, Joe, has had to pull out kind of last minute due to some family stuff. So I have brought along an FMSL legend, part of the admin team, and current Olympiacos manager, and our good friend Craig Sumner. Craig has saved the day.
Hello. Nothing like a late substitute. 89 minutes.
No. Literally, this is stoppage time stuff, this one. This is stoppage time stuff.
Yeah. Well, good to be invited. Thanks anyway.
No. Thank you for coming on. I really do appreciate it. Obviously, we have just had the end of the window. Obviously, we've had a cup week now as well. We are a little bit late to record this podcast. So I have just had the cup week as well. How's your squad been so far?
Well, they played one game. Beat CF America 3-2. Really tight game. Could have gone either way. Craig battered me first half, and second half my team literally scored just after kickoff, made it 3-2, and then there's no other highlights almost. So it's like, I'll take that. I've still got Kev to play, Kev Heenan. But he's been busy most of the early part of the week with the admin stuff, and then he's got his network saved tonight, so that's arranged for tomorrow. And then I've got Monza, which is probably going to be over the weekend. So my cup week is literally tail end of the week. So, but I've started off with a win, so
it's positive. You've got to start off with a win. Yeah, I have our lovely new manager in, obviously a former manager, and we will welcome Alan, who is manager of Boca Juniors. One of your former teams. Yeah. And so Alan has been welcomed back with open arms, replacing Liam Cooney, who left. So wish Liam all the best. And obviously we did have an interim manager who did no signing. We made one signing, which was Paulinia for 50 million.
Sold his star striker.
Kev Hodgson. Sold his star striker. And then, was that Lorenzo Martinez, wasn't it?
Martinez went to Lecce, yeah.
And then he just buggered off.
I think it was a case, he'd gone on holiday and Kev was doing his deals, but I don't think most of the league was aware he wasn't doing deals. So he had like about 100 messages while he was away. So I think it was a bit of an introduction, a bit too much for him.
Yeah, I think it always tends to happen.
If you're not used to the transfer, if you're not used to the transfer window, it can be carnage, can't it? So
yeah, my first one was a transfer window. It was like 2 days into a transfer window, everybody Odegaard. No, you're not getting him. But yeah, so obviously he left, and then Alan's came in literally on draft day, and he's completely overhauled the team. And so I had Alan in the group.
Yeah, draft day, wasn't it? Yeah, the Wednesday.
Yeah, it was draft day. Yeah, so I had Lewis, Cologne, Luis, POAK, and then had Alan.
Yeah, that's a tough group.
Yeah, I know. So I beat Louis on pens. I lost, I want to say 2-1 or 3-1. I can't actually remember the score against Luis, and then Alan completely. He is going to walk League Two if he doesn't have be concerned. I really will. He absolutely dominated me. I had no chance whatsoever. So that proves that star rating.
Two-time former Premier League champion, isn't he? So
yeah, he is. It should be good. So let's look at what happened in the draft. So as we can see, this is all team-based now. I will just mention now, there is no mention of Almeria on here, which is Niall, due to his transfer embargo. So he could only sell out. He couldn't bring anyone in, even on freeze, which is obviously part of the embargo. So his team isn't mentioned on here. But he made quite a lot of money. I think in the end it was £253 million he made. He sold a hell of a lot of his squad.
He made quite a bit,
nuts. It was a bit nuts. So obviously he's in the championship this year. So good luck to you, Niall. But obviously, looking at that, we do have some big names going across the board. Obviously, your Lavia, your Conor Gallagher.
Yeah,
Um,
some quite big deals in there, aren't there?
yeah, you got Sané in there as well. That's just the first page as well. Like there is Archie Gray. Um, there's actually a guy who Lewis Young signed for Cologne, Oscar Guluka or
Yeah.
Gulak. He was released by a club. I can't remember which club it is now. But he was released by a club in FMSL for Wyber, and now he's back. He's back.
Well,
I love it.
there's a few back, aren't there? I think I've just seen Uni Nunez on here for Magnus at Freiburg, and I
Yeah,
had him on loan from Celta Vigo when Ballant was manager. So he's
oh, that
obviously
was a long time ago.
well, the new manager's obviously come in, got rid of him straight away, and he's obviously back in it. You say there's
Yeah, you
Archie
got
Gray
Malas,
there.
yeah.
He's gone to
Yeah,
Steve.
Frimpong as well, who was my first choice right back until he went.
Yeah.
You got Mancini, my
Oh yeah, I
my
was
boy.
just looking at those at Simon's. He's got two players that I had with Nance last year. Mancini, who I bought off you.
Yeah,
I think that was part of the Madison deal.
it was.
And then we've got Lebropka, who I had as well last season. So I know they're quite good players. Well,
Yeah,
Mancini's a bit angry though, bit of an angry Italian.
a little bit of an angry Italian, yeah. Hector Fort as well, another one of the many right backs that went this. It was right back fever. It was full back fever really with the amount that went.
Yeah.
There's one of my little favourites in there as well, who's went to Bologna, Danny Nasamo. He's
Okay. Yeah.
brilliant. He's brilliant. He's so well rounded as an attacker. And obviously, Alan's only draft pick was Bert Leno, and he's
Okay.
come up. I think against me, he didn't even play. I think he was on the bench. I can't even remember now. It was that long ago. It was like 3 days ago. I don't remember.
Well, looking at Chrissy's deals as well, what Fatty, Uni Simon, and Casemiro. Obviously, Casemiro will be getting on a little bit now, but still be quite a decent little bench player, I guess.
Yeah, Mohamed Kudus as well. He's joined Mines. There's some big ones.
Yeah. And then Joe's got Hernandez, Courtois as well. So definitely some big deals. Ollie Watkins going to Dan. So yeah,
there's some big ones on there. I mean, obviously, you didn't make any draft signings yourself.
No, I went.
What was the reason behind it?
Just because the business was done in the window, I knew what I wanted, but again, plans change, don't they, on a day-to-day basis with the draft? You have an idea with the transfer window, you have an idea of where you want to go, and then all of a sudden, someone puts an offer in for a player like Lukaku. I wasn't planning on selling him, but Stuttgart's put an offer in of 100 million over 2 seasons for a 34-year-old. So next season I'm probably not going to be able to get anything like that. So I thought, well, may as well sell. And then that obviously changed focus of my window a little bit. So I ended up, buying Raheem Sterling as not a direct replacement, but it means I can move Mbappe more central and play Sterling out wide. So that was one of the big signings I did. And then I got Mukhtar Dikabe off Rashford for a centre half, which I needed because Raphael Varane was good, but he was getting on, so I moved him on. But I actually moved Varane on quite early to try and get Rudiger off Augsburg when he put him in the chat to literally say that he was available. So I've sold Varane, got the money, and then literally fastest finger first, missed out on Rudiger that time. So I had to go for Dikabe, which is not bad.
That's
signing.
not bad.
Then who else? Oh, and then SMS off Steve as well. So the players the sort of area I wanted came up. So SMS is only 32, still got all the stats, attributes, not stats. Let's not start that. Around him, so I got those were the 3 big signings, and then what I find interesting with draft day, if you're not involved in the draft and not doing your picks, is if you keep your eye on the chat, people are chucking players at you to try and make quick sales. Like Mark put
Yeah.
Jordan Pickford up for sale. So I thought, right, had a quick look. He's better than what Pope. He's a little bit younger, a little bit overall better, and better for the type of keeper I want anyway, in terms of a sweeper keeper. So ended up going for him as well. So it was very much last minute sort of change.
Yeah.
You have a plan of the 3 or 4 you perhaps want, and you're perhaps going to go in the draft, but then all of a sudden, players become available. You think, right, I'll have him. So SMS, Sterling, Dicabe, Pickford. Rest of my team was all right. So I didn't really need to change too much. So as I say, the rest of the players I bought were just squad fillers and backup players. But yeah, you're not taking part in the draft. It gives you another side to it where you can just literally sit in the messenger, watch as things are going on. Then because someone's been outbid, they're going for the target number 2, but they're a few million short, they'll chuck someone that they want to get rid of. So it's like, okay, so if you just sit back and wait, that was kind of a different approach. But yeah, there was just everything I wanted came up internally, so there was no need for the draft in the end, and just made a few extra million selling me draft picks off. So I know you took one.
Yeah, I took. Yeah, because I made a mess.
Literally took. A mess of it. Yeah. Didn't even wait for me to reply to my message.
Hey, do you know what? I was desperate, and you were set. To be fair, I paid you half as much as what Steve did for your own one, so you can't get away. You can't say no to that.
I got the money, so I wasn't too fussed. And then I ended up in the red after me draft anyway. After the deals, didn't I? Literally put a panic message out the day after because I'd not calculated that one of I bought Tony Kroos for literally 2.5 million or something, really cheap backup player at his age. Just sit him on bench, bring him on late on. And I hadn't calculated when I bought Pickford that deal had not been confirmed.
Yeah.
So I've ended up selling Jan Galliera to Alan, who stepped in with 6 million. A little disappointed to lose him because he was a pretty decent backup player, but needs must. So that was a method behind my window. It was literally everything I wanted came up internally, and for prices that I could afford. So, Sterling, SMS, Dicabe, Pickford. They're the ones that got into my team. The only probably issue is I don't think I've directly, with all the friendlies I've done and that in the early game, I don't think I've directly replaced Lukaku. So I've not really got anybody, to sort of cover Mbappe directly up front. I've got Dye, who I bought off Ryan on loan, and I've got a lad that I bought last draft, Milan Elastic, who's developed quite a bit. So I've got those two vying for a place. So it's not too bad.
Yeah, I mean that's pretty good. I mean, you've done all your business internally, and it's different to see. You don't really get many managers do that. You get the odd few, obviously. There is people who just stick to the draft and don't do internals, and then there's the opposite side as well.
Yeah, there's people that. Yeah, well, I've found the first window. Not the very first window, but the second window. So the one I bought Mbappe, I stayed internal for that because my wife was having a baby. And literally, she was giving birth on the Sunday of the window, so I knew I wouldn't have had time to scout and do anything. So I just kept it internal for that one. And it worked out quite well because while she was sort of in hospital recovering, and I was sat in a room with her. She was asleep, baby was asleep. I was on my own, no other kids running around, so it meant I could focus on picking up messages and doing deals and stuff. But this time, there was the only reason I didn't do the draft was because everything I wanted was there.
Yeah. Yeah, I think we had you on just after. I think we had you on just after that on the first lot of the podcast. Yeah,
it was. Yeah. I talked about the Mbappe deal literally as the day before she gave birth. We're in the prenatal ward just waiting, and literally she was on the gas and air and was in and out of consciousness, asleep, and I'm there on my phone going,
every time she wakes up, yeah,
everything's fine. Yeah, it's all done now. Mbappe's signed. I've got him.
Yeah,
he was in and out of consciousness, no idea what I was doing, so it's all good fun.
Yeah, my draft was pretty. Trying to put this diplomatically. Shit. Obviously, I had a I had a decent window overall, but just I had a few panicked moments of selling players, selling draft picks when I shouldn't have. Because I would have had 3 draft picks, but I forgot I'd sold one in a deal, and it was just a mess. Everything was just a mess. So I ended up selling Donny van der Beek and Davide Calabria on the day pretty much of the window.
Yeah.
And I signed Kelvin, who was he's the most all-round player I've ever seen as a defender. He's got 11 plus across the board for everything. And he was only, I think it was 12 million quid or 11 million quid. And there was a lot of people pissed that he went. And then I panicked because obviously I'd sold Donny van der Beek. I then realised my mistake with my draft pick. So I picked up Sadio Mane at 34 from James for £1 million. It was the easiest deal I've ever had to do. Discord, James, are you there? Yeah, I am here. Are you still getting rid of Lacoste? Are you still getting rid of Mane, are you? Yeah, well, you can go, yeah. Well, how much do you want for him? Like, realistically, how much do you want? Well, how much do you want to pay? I went, £1 million. He went, yep, done, no worries, you can write it up. Easiest deal I've ever had. Easiest deal by far. But he's yet to touch the grass. So then I went and spunked 39.5 million on Casadri, whatever he's called. Who plays for I think he played for Reading in the Championship last year in real life. Right. He was a pretty decent player. So I picked him up from Chelsea for like nearly 40 million quid, used most of my budget up there. Obviously, when we get onto it in a couple of minutes there, you'll see the change in my squad is just like ridiculous. You must have seen it as well. It's just like I've kind of went a bit over the top. So obviously Joe is not here with us tonight, but he did prep something for us with his draft 11. Obviously he is a little bit biased, clearly, because there is Courtois and Hernandez in there. But overall, you got Courtois, which is an optional loan for 47 million overall. I think it was 36. I can't actually see the little things in there we go. 37.6 plus 9.4 million on an optional. Hector Fort obviously went as well for 47 million overall. Hincapi, I don't actually know who that player is. Truth be told, I couldn't. Do you know who he is? I don't even know who he's signed for.
Name rings a bell, but
couldn't tell you who he is. He's 86 million quid, not 86 pounds, because that'd be great. That'd be dead cheap. Obviously, you've got Hernandez, who Joe has signed as well, and then Malacia filling in the rest of the defence there. And then Lavia went to AK Athens for 116 million. I think that's probably the overall one of the bigger deals.
I'm guessing Nkape is the lad from Bayer Leverkusen. Ecuadorian defender, plays for Leverkusen. He's only 22, so probably be
in game. He's probably around 26.
27 in game, yeah.
Yeah, 26, 27. Yeah.
Quick bit of Google for you. Shows my football knowledge sometimes.
Yeah, well, all these young'uns coming in, no idea. And then obviously you've got Sadio Mane on one way. It's not Sadio Mane, I wish. Leroy Sané is 79 million on one side, and
caused me a few problems the other night. I think he set up Craig's first or second goal, so still quite useful.
Yeah, he must be getting on a bit now. He must be nearing his 30s at least. If not already,
must be
well into his
30s. I had him last season at Nantes in the last season.
Yeah,
last couple of seasons. So he does go quite late into the game. So.
Yeah, I mean he's good enough. But I looked at him to replace Gnabry originally, but I decided against that. And then obviously you've got Ansu Fati, 161 million, biggest deal of the window. And then you got Marcus Asensio, £80 million. And then he's went for 2 cheaper striking options, which I'm surprised by. But I think value for money wise, I think they are pretty worth it. Elias for 29 million and Musa for 23.5 million. I think overall, I think pretty good. Obviously, personally, I would have probably stuck Danny Nasamu in for how good overall he is up front.
Yeah.
But I think it's a pretty strong team. I mean, that team probably finishes, let's say, in the championship with a half decent manager. That team finishes playoffs easy. Easy
Yeah,
money. That team finishes playoffs. So, moving on, I'm going to skip to your team first, Craig, because there is probably a lot less to talk about in terms of transfers. Obviously, I've spoke about most of them, but I think, in all honesty, I think you've built a cracking side. Obviously, you've kept the players that you needed to keep.
I think the ones that I've obviously bought in. Looking at it, that's the one transfer actually. The Patrick Berg one I forgot to mention. Bought him back off Monza. I got him from the original draft, and he was part of the exchange that took Mbappe over with Wesley when he was Monza manager. But then the new Monza, Wesley's replacement was put him up for sale, and I quite liked him when I first had him, so he's come back. But yeah, kept the bulk of the team. The 2 fullbacks were pretty decent as they were, Cash and Merlin. The lad in the middle, Velinetti, the Argentinian who I got off Boca, has actually developed quite a lot. He's actually become far better than I thought he would. So keeping him in centre half, I'm quite happy with that. And as I said, the main one for me is this working out this front four. I'm still figuring it out. Curtis Jones, elastic. Do I have Mbappe directly up front? So still figuring it about, but there's enough options there as well. And then I've got a few backups as well. I bought Demiral off PAOK, off Louis, who's a decent backup centre half, if not a starter. Bought Tony Cruz again, more of a backup player.
Yeah.
With his age, just to sit on the bench, come on a little bit.
I'm shocked he's still going. Still going.
So was I. When he said he'd have him for WAP, he'd sell him for his WAP value. I thought, well, I've got the money left. I'll take him just to sit on the bench. But he might get more involvement now because I didn't plan on losing Angeliera. But as I say, he could get involved.
To be fair, I think last season he was at. You can correct me if I'm wrong. He was at Werder Bremen, wasn't he?
Yeah, that's
what and I remember I played them in the cup or friendly. I can't remember which. And Tony Kroos just sat in front of the defence as a DLP on defend, and he completely ran the show. Like I think sometimes people go on about physicals all the time and bang on. I need this pace, that. In reality, as long as somebody has the overall technical and mental ability,
got the ability. Well, one of my best,
especially in that role.
Yeah, one of my best players, and I still haven't replaced him, was Modric. In his second season, the first season I had Mbappe, and I had Modric. Literally, Modric, all he did was stand in DM position, and he just played the ball through to Mbappe, and I was winning games, a number of games, just because Modric was just passing him the ball, and I haven't managed to replace that.
You might have. You never know.
So I might,
you never know if you move to a 4-3-3. You never know.
See how it goes. As I say, I'm still playing about with the starting 11 at the moment. I haven't quite finalised it because I played Craig the other day, and Mbappe got injured after 8 minutes. So I ended up bringing Curtis Jones on, who actually came on and scored the first goal for me. So there is a bit of depth there. There's a strong enough team there. So I think I've improved my team, which I know I had to do because being in the Premier League now is going to be an almighty challenge.
Yeah,
it's
going to be. It's a big challenge.
As I say, I've been there or thereabouts Championship every season, missing out on playoffs, etc. I managed to literally just get myself over the line this season with a 90th minute winner against Monza to win that game. Just about give me the points to just stay behind Chrissy and get above third place. But I know that the Premier League with the teams in there is going to be absolutely brutal.
Yeah, it's going to be mental. Like you're going to
So
have
I'd say
your work
a lot of the signings there were to give me both attacking and defensive options, so I can change my shape. And I know Abdul likes playing against teams that park the bus a lot, so I'll have to try and see if I can do something around that. I've actually got him first game in the league next week, so that'll be fun.
Haven't even looked who I've got yet. I don't even want to think about it. Obviously, just a very, very quick one. I did try and get Mbappe off you again.
Yeah.
I did try with a Skamaka, Pedri, and I think Cash was the overall. I don't think I ever disclosed how much cash that I had, but you were look. I think you were just window showing really. Kind of.
I wasn't planning on selling. I was waiting to see if there was an offer that could come in and if I could line up a replacement, because so there was a lot of deals that were there. I wasn't overly tempted and overly fussed by them. I wasn't going to do anything with them. I know Simon came in and offered me quite a lot of money for him as a cash offer.
Once he got his 100 million.
So he was raising. So he got a lot. We got money off you, and he raised that. And he put quite a substantial cash offer into me. I then translated that cash offer over to Besiktas to try and get Haaland. And if he'd sold me Haaland, I would have moved Mbappe on, because I don't think there's many players that are up to Mbappe's. I think he's 197 current ability.
Yeah.
So
there's only two of them.
There's only two players. There's only him and Haaland. They're comparable. So to lose a player of his ability, especially going into the Premier League, I'm going to need that one player that could be the difference.
Yeah.
Literally just because as you've played with him before. 50% of the time he can be absolute garbage. 5.9, 6, do absolutely nothing, and then all of a sudden he'll just get on the end of one, win you the game, or
he'll score you 5 and have the game of his life.
He played James last year and I beat James 7-2, which surprised me because I didn't expect anything like that. But I was literally Mbappe scored 4 or 5 goals. It was just his day, and he just took his chances. So need something like that in the Premier League, and that's why I wouldn't sell unless something bigger or comparable. Came up. As I say, there's no point having 3 or 4 slightly lesser players than him, and then try to build a team. Whereas if I had a similar quality, I looked at my old favourite Darwin Núñez in the draft, but to get him in the draft would have been nearly 200, 300 million, and he's not the same level of player. I know he did well for me last FM, but still ability-wise, he's not the same, and there's no point forking out all that additional money for someone that's slightly less. So that was the reason. He was never up for sale. There was never an intention of, I guess I am going to sell him this window. The likelihood is I won't sell him next window. Going into the final season or final couple of seasons. But if someone offers me something ridiculous and I can get something comparable back, then there's always an option.
Yeah. So I'll quickly run through this. Obviously, people who know me know that I love to bring back players. So I did a bit of wheeling and dealing. I managed to bring back Andreas Christensen. I can't remember the fee I paid, but I definitely had my spare centre half, Robert Redden. He moved over to CF America with a boatload of cash. Matthias de Ligt joined for 110 million overall, 100 million in cash. He's been dog. He's been utter dog. I spent 70 million. So it was like 75 plus 25 million plus Seko Fofana for João Felix. Harry Kane came back to the promised land for half of what he went for 80 million. Obviously, he went for 80 million. He come back for 40. I signed Timo Horn on a free, which was a great one. Obviously, I did a really big swap deal with Danny for Manuel Akanji and Julian Alvarez. I got rid of Adama Nagola and Gnabry, that's the one. I've forgotten them already. I definitely don't miss them. I miss you. obviously, I brought in Juan Bernat from James on a free because I was desperate for a left back just to sit on the bench. Obviously, it feels like I've got two brand new players in centre midfield on the bench with Salterberg and Miley. They've just improved so much. It's like it's actually helped me so much. Obviously, Cassady joins as well. Sadio Mane obviously joined again from Union Berlin for £1,000,000. Morata, I've only ever had him once, and it was for one season, and he was dreadful. But this time he's actually scored a goal, so he is improved at his ripe old age of 35.
Well, be honest with Joe having him up for a while. I was tempted. Thought, right, I need someone to sit on the bench. He was one of the options I had, but then I was waiting to see what happened with Ryan as well, because he had Dye up for sale. I know, because when you do the stats, you pick up players that do well. And he always seemed to score goals in this mode. So I thought, I'll see what happens with him, see what price he wants. But then he put him up for free loan. So I thought, oh, well, for free, I'll take it. I'm a Northerner.
Yeah.
I'll take things for free. And he scored in his first game, so it can't be too bad.
I think I paid 7 and 7 for Morata, and I think I'm going to come back to bite me on the arse, that one. I really do.
How old is he now?
34. So it might come back. I mean, even then, he's just wide back for our next reason, really. I've then got Julian Alvarez, obviously, in the swap deal. And then this was where I cocked up. So the little stars on the two players there are regens. They're both regens. Oscar Comola, who I had last year, who's improved massively. So much so he actually was going to be able to start right back. He improved that much. He's like a 1-4-4 or something like that now, and I was just like, shit, that's really good, But I took a chance on Antonio Villa, Spanish 15-year-old. I'd just seen him and went, he's got 189 potential. Yeah, that'll do. I'll take you on the free draft, which was where I cocked up with Simon, and I swapped Simon my second round pick for his first round draft free draft. Don't know why. So yeah, my team is pretty much that. Obviously, you've still got your big favourites. Still got your Tonali, still got your Odegaard. Nico Pass has improved a hell of a lot. Pedri's still there, even though I tried to offload him the whole window and nobody bit. So yeah, I mean, I tried to offer him out for a hell of a lot of money, but you know what it's like when you're trying to offer players out and it's just you get nothing back. But overall, who is your signing of the window? It could be one of your signings, can be anybody else's signing, whatever. Or it can be a draft. Who's your signing?
I'll go off mine because I do try and pay attention to others, but I don't sort of never remember them. But I think my big one I'm pinning a lot on this season will be SMS. He's got the ability with set pieces. I can play him in all three midfield roles, so I can be flexible with formation. So I can have him. I've tried him in attacking midfield. I've tried him in DM. I've tried him in central midfield in friendlies and stuff, and had some sort of positive stuff. So he's the one I probably pin most on. But also looking at things, I'm quite liking Raheem Sterling at the moment as well.
Yeah.
So they'd probably be me two that I'll look to expect a lot from this season.
Yeah, I mean he's at the right. Well, he's getting on a bit, but he's still got. He got offered in a deal with me. Yeah, I can't remember what. I think it was for Pedri, I think. And I looked at him and I thought he's getting on a bit. He's there, but the quality is still there. The quality is still there to see. You can see it in the attributes. You just know. You just see it.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing you got to remember with a season with versus mode. I know it doesn't long-term planning, but you're buying a player for that season. Their age is. Yeah, you can plan long-term, and I know some managers, like, for example, Chris is really good at that. He starts off really poorly because he builds a young team, but then he sort of flies through rest, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Whereas I've almost got a similar approach to you. I'll buy a team for now, and then I'll worry about next window, next time. And if I have to sell half my squad, I'll do that. If the player comes up like that, then I will go for him.
Yeah, I've sold a hell of a lot this window. I sold Donny, Matt. I sold my favourite son, Craig. It really hurt. And I sold Skamaka for like 125 million. I was laughing all the way at the bank. But yeah, I mean, I've had a good window. I've enjoyed it. It was the least stressful window I've ever done, and that was probably because I was drunk half the time. But that's what happens. That's what happens. But Craig, I want to thank you very much for being my last-minute substitute and winning me the game here. Because
I better get off and put my boy to bed. He sat next to me here, and he should have been in bed about half an hour ago.
Ah, well, it's a holidays. You can get away with it. But thank you very much, Craig, for coming on.
Cheers, and Cameron.
Really appreciate it, man. Take care. So, it is the end of the FMSL podcast, episode 18. This was the transfer special. I do just want to give a big shout out to the admins and especially Kev Heenan, who has worked so hard over the last few days to get all the teams out, get everything sorted, sort the transfers and the sheet. The league would not be the same without you. The league would not be here and would not be running. So thank you very much to Kev Heenan, Kev Hodgson, Craig, who we've just had on, Rashmat, Chrissy, Abdul. I've probably forgotten a few more, but thank you very much to everybody. Thank you everybody for watching. And we'll see you somewhere down the road next week. Take care.